Okay, so the last section of chapter 10 that we are going to talk about this year is going to be applications of the Pythagorean theorem. So this is not any new math. This is just taking what we already know, the Pythagorean theorem, which is the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and applying it into some other situations. So just as a couple of examples here, one quick example, we're going to have a situation like this, for example. A cell phone tower that is 75 feet tall needs a support cable that will be attached to the ground 90 feet away. How long will the cable need to be? And so in this case, keep in mind we are using the Pythagorean theorem here. So it's going to involve a right triangle. You're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem. The question is, what does each side of the triangle represent? So here we've got a phone tower that is 75 feet tall. So we can represent that with just a vertical line, and we'll label that 75 feet tall for the tower. We're going to have the ground, and we're going to have the cable that attaches from the top of the tower down to the ground. And so we says the support cable needs to be attached to the ground 90 feet away. So that's going to be this distance along the ground is 90 feet. And then just to check to make sure it makes sense, let's make sure that the thing we're finding is what we have left in the picture. So this is how long will the cable need to be? And so since this side represented the cable, that is the side that we're trying to find. And so we've got our third side. Now the whole deal here is we know this is a right triangle because we put cell phone towers in the ground at 90 degrees to the ground. Otherwise they'd be all crooked. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for this. And so we've got 75 squared, that's one of our legs, plus 90 squared. And that's going to equal squared. And so we'll just go through the steps to solve that here. This is the part where, once you've got the picture of the triangle, you're back to the very first thing you did in this chapter, which is just learning how to use the Pythagorean theorem. So 75 squared, get out a calculator. Definitely don't do this in your head because I can't do that in my head. 75 times 75 is 5,625. 90 times 90 is 8,100 equals x squared. We'll combine those things together. So 13,725 equals x squared. And then we know we need to take the square root. So in order to get x by itself, we'll take the square root of both sides. Now, before we were talking about how to answer a question like this in simplest radical form. In this case, we don't want an answer in simplest radical form, because if we were to give an answer like 17 times the square root of 31, probably not it, but let's just say, if we went to a shop to ask for a cable to be made that long, they're not going to know what that means. It's in a real life situation, we definitely want a decimal answer. We want to be able to say, give me a cable that is this many feet long. And so we'll just use our calculator here to calculate the square root of that. And for now, let's just go to the nearest hundredths spot, which is your 2 decimal places. And so we have 117.15 feet for our cable. Right? So for all of these, you're either going to it'll be a whole number, or I want you to round to the nearest hundredth on these. So right below this video on the Canvas page, you've got access to the worksheet. So go ahead and download the worksheet. You can do this on a separate sheet of paper, or you can print it off, either one. And then I do also have the answers posted right below that. They are just the answers though. So what I still need to see on your problems here is I need to see a picture, right? You need to draw the picture and put the sides on the triangle. Then I want to see your work to solve these. So in class, we just did the second one here together. We've got the foot of a ladder is 6 feet up from a wall. The top of the ladder is 8 feet up the wall. How long is the ladder? And so the biggest thing here is just realizing that your job today is not, it's not, the hard part's not going to be finding the Pythagorean theorem. It's going to be which sides are they talking about. So here, this is the foot of the ladder. That's the bottom of the ladder right here. is 6 feet from the wall, so that means this side is 6 feet. And then it says the top of the ladder is 8 feet up the wall. So that's this side. The top of the ladder's there, up the wall 8 feet. And then just to double check, make sure that the last part of this question makes sense too. Are you solving for this hypotenuse? How long is the ladder? Well, the ladder has to lean up against the wall at an angle like that. So yeah, that's the side we're trying to solve for. And so then you can go and use your Pythagorean theorem. In this case, this will come out as a whole number, but most of them are going to come out as decimals. And like I said, round to the nearest hundredth today.